like to follow up on another question. Is it possible for us to focus more on the strength of the school rather than dwelling on the problems of school having at-risk students?
Yes, yesterday we intentionally focused on problems in the environment. Now, we could just as easily have started with the strengths and built on the strengths. And in fact, that's a proven strategy for success, is to help people, as we would with kids, focus on their strengths rather than focusing on their weaknesses. But we did that for a very important reason. And the reason was to demonstrate that problems can be a starting point for positive change. In other words, if we want to flip the coin from risk, focusing on risk, to focusing on resiliency, if we want to change the conversation from kids at risk to kids at promise, then what we need to be able to do is identify what those risk factors are in order to change those into opportunities for building promise. So what we did is we made a list of the problems that were putting kids at risk in the school, or risk behaviors in the kids themselves. Early school leaving or dropout, teen pregnancy, suicidal ideation, and those kinds of things. Now, in the beginning it appears to be a little bit depressing, like, oh yeah, we got all these problems. But the strategy we used was a strategy of looking deeply at the conditions underlying many risk factors in the environment and what were the commonalities. And then selecting from among those commonalities that condition underlying them, which if focused upon in a planned and systematic way, would enable the ripple effect to take place throughout the school, identifying what that one or two key risk factors or conditions were, and then focusing on those. And we did that in a very, very thoughtful, structured planning manner, which took us from symptoms to underlying conditions, to the selection of the underlying conditions which, if focused on in a planned way, would have the greatest likelihood of succeeding, and then rephrasing that as a positive outcome. And there, we're looking at strength building. And then, and only then, looking at benchmarks and indicators and action plans. So that's why we did it in that way, simply to demonstrate that problems are starting points for opportunities for positive change.
Thank you.